ass motherfucker.
What's up, YouTube? I'm so fucking tired from working. There's just more work coming next week. Stupid. But anyway, haven't done a MotoMyths in a long time, and this would I've been seeing more and more lately, so it's starting to bother me. It used to be a misnomer, now it's just straight up a myth, because the number of people that perpetuate it. This would include your more famous lists of moto vloggers like to perpetuate it too. And I'm kind of on the fence on to why. A few of the comments, if you look at the videos where they talk about it, the comments kind of, you know, point to what may be the cause, you know, a little scared of the throttle. But anyway, to the point. The point is, the myth is, the way they word the myth is that a motorcycle is more flickable when it weighs less. Which is, first off, asinine to think that that's true. Because, as we all know, we're all intelligent people, right? We know that we ride these motorcycles on balance points, right? About the size of a credit card in a straight line. That's about how much of the tire is touching the ground. So you don't really feel the 440 pounds that this CBR 1000 is. I don't feel it. So I could throw it around. This doesn't feel anything. I can't feel any of this. There's no, you know, I'm not putting any of my actual power into moving the bike when I'm doing this. So when it comes to flickability itself, that's actually the design of the motorcycle was what makes it flickable. And you'll always notice, like, people will say, oh, it's so much more flickable than my last bike. And that's because they were used to the last bike, and now they're on a new bike, and they're like, oh, this is kind of weird the way it's turning. And a lot of times, too, you'll see they'll go from, like, clip-ons like this to some, it'll be lightweight, yes, like a DRZ or even like a Sport Touring where the bars are straight. If the bars come up and are straight, you will be able to throw that bike around corners like nobody's business. It'll be so easy to just sling that bike around that it's not even funny how easy it is. But I'm focusing more on the weight here than the handle, because it is definitely the handlebars that help with flickability. But the weight issue, people say that like a bike like mine, a CBR 1000's great, you know, in the straights. You can crack that throttle, it's exciting, you go straight line. But you can't do the twisties, because, you know, it's heavy. You know, I'd rather have the CBR 600 because it's not as heavy. And, you know, that's just what I think. And people that say that don't know what they're talking about. And I will give you a great real-life example. This is a 2014 CBR 1000 RR. A big, badass leader bike. That's what this is. Now, the 2014 CBR 600 RR weighs 410 pounds and like some change. So, there's some change in there. That is the 600. This bike weighs 440 pounds and some change. I think it's like 440.9 or some weird shit. Something like that. So that's wet weight. So that is 30 pounds difference in these machines. And this one is way more powerful than the other one. So the weight itself is already made up for in horsepower and torque. And as I already pointed out, you don't feel the actual weight of the bike because you're on a balance point, you're on the pivot point, like doing wheelies. You think doing a stand-up wheelie and holding it at the balance point is super heavy to the rider? They don't feel shit. It's just keeping the bike balanced that's the hard part. So when somebody says, no, don't get a 1000, you can't do twisties, I'll beat you in the twisties if you got a 1000. No, they fucking won't. As a matter of fact, equal skilled rider on a 600 and a 1000, the guy on the 1000 is going to obliterate the guy on the 600 because of he has that much more power to make up for the 30 pounds of difference. It's ludicrous to think that 30 pounds on a machine that can do 200 miles an hour is going to be, you know, noticeable. That's why you see, you know, people, you know, I was going to say the Hayabusa, but the Hayabusa is kind of heavy. And the GSX-R 1000, I think, in a straight line right now may beat it. This is stock, obviously. So when you see people say, you know, flickability, you need to ask yourself questions, you know, like, oh, what kind of handlebars does it have? What's the seating position of the motorcycle? You know, stuff like that. Don't focus on weight, and don't ever think that just because a 600cc bike is 30 pounds less than its big brother, that it's any more nimble or any easier to flick around corners, because it's not. That's just stupid. That's stupid. This may be one of those myths that perpetuated from the good old days of motorcycles, where like the difference was like a goddamn like fucking 100 pounds or something like that. But even then, it's only 100 pounds. Like, but if you go back to, you know, older motorcycle design, god damn it, if you go to older motorcycle design, you'll see that there were actually more fundamental differences between the 600 and 1000 bikes. They look different, and that was because they were designed to do different things. So the comparison there is obviously more extreme. You go back to the 90s, or maybe even the early 2000s, those motorcycles, that may have made a big difference. But on these bikes, anything past, I'll say 06, no way. No way that the 1000 variant of the bike isn't just as flickable as the smaller one. And I, like I said, I gave you that caveat. Another prime example, let's go with the 2006 range. There was a 2006 600 F4i, a 2006 600 RR, and then there was a 2006 1000. Out of the three of those, I would say the most flickable of them would be the F4i, and that was because the F4i had more upright bars. It had a more upright seating position, so when you went to push on the fucking bar, you know, push left, go left, when you went to push, it was easier to apply that left. Because right now, in order for me to put all of my the actual pushing potential into this, I would need to be like this. I would need to tuck all the way down like I am now. My chest is resting on my tank in order to fully, you know, push this bike over. Like this, where I'm at now, I might be getting 30-40% of the push in there, so it takes more to move the bike. It's still not a lot, but it takes more. So yeah, guys, yeah, that was just bothering me. I had to make a video about it. You may not agree with me, and if you don't, you're wrong. So I mean, you can look at the math. If you don't believe me, you're probably wrong. But yeah, that's a myth that, like I said, used to be a misnomer. Now it's a myth because of how the perpetuation. That a 1000 cannot be on par, if not better than, a 600 Super Sport in the corners because of its weight. That's just crazy. It's crazy. Right, guys? So, thank you for watching. If you actually got this far, my 7-minute rant about flickability and weight and all that. Be sure to comment if you want to talk about it, if you want to tell me I'm stupid and actually have some backup there, some actual evidence to back up your statements. And we can have a philosophical discussion about the flickability of these here grand motorcycles. You know what I'm saying, guys? So be sure you guys ride safe. Keep all your gear on. Summer is finally getting here. So it's time to get out there and do some crazy shit on your bike. And I'll see y'all next time.